I took a special solo cruise on the MSC Meraviglia. Learn about the MSC Solo Cruiser promotion and my surprising review of the ship. Today on See More Seas. On this solo cruise, I took advantage of MSC's special solo cruiser promotion, which I will detail. I will also be using Doug's ship score to give you a full review of the ship and my sailing. If you're new here, I am Doug with See More Seas. This is your cruise tips and planning channel where I hope to help you and your family pick, plan, and enjoy your next cruise vacation. If you find this video helpful in any way, as always, please do give it that big thumbs up and consider subscribing. I'm almost at that 1,000 subscriber mark goal that I had for the end of the year. So please subscribe. There's a lot of content on the channel with a lot more to come. So thanks so much for stopping in today, and let's get started. So this cruise was a 4-night cruise to the Bahamas, stopping in Nassau and also their private island, Ocean Cay Marine Reserve, where we actually had an overnight, which you'll see. This was different from our regular cruises leaving from Fort Lauderdale or Miami, where we had to drive 2.5 hours up to Port Canaveral, and it was a very easy drop off at the port, and check-in was a little bit delayed due to the fact that security went fairly quickly, but the wait to go to the check-in counters was about 45 minutes. Another thing that I did establish is that my credit card was linked prior to cruising. Those of you that have sailed on MSC before know that you have to go to one of the kiosks on board first day to link your credit card, and you do not have the ability to do that before you sail. This has changed, and I was successfully able to link my credit card before I sailed. And so when I did get on the ship, I went to one of the kiosks and it had said that my credit card was already active. One other thing to note is that the muster drill on MSC has changed post-pandemic, and that you are still all having to go to the muster drill at the exact same time, filling up the staircases, which is something that I think that they could probably improve on. So my main motivation for this trip was to explore this special solo cruiser promotion that MSC has going on through March 31st of 2023. Now, if you've cruised solo before, normally you have to pay for double occupancy in your cabin, meaning that you're paying the double amount. So what MSC has done is waiving that second passenger, so you are only paying for one person in that cabin. So I chose a balcony cabin, and there were options to do a cruise only fare with no additional services. However, I was able to get the Wi-Fi and drink package included in my fare. You do have to pay the tips on board, and the taxes and fees are added on at checkout. This turned out to be an absolutely tremendous value. For 4 days, I was able to cruise for under $100 per day. That is a really, really great deal for a solo cruiser. So make sure that you take a look at the promotions on MSC's website, and you'll find it under Cruise Deals, Solo Traveler. And then you have various options that you'll be able to see for booking with their different experiences and different levels of services on board. So take a look at it. I think it is one of the best values around today. If you're not familiar with Doug's ship score, it is a possible 5 stars in 5 different categories. The first is S for ship. This is the design of the ship. This is how easy it is to get around. This is the age, the condition, the cleanliness of the ship. The next is H for hotel. This will detail the cabins as well as the entertainment. Cabins and entertainment report up to the hotel director, so this is where you'll find all of that in this category. The next is I for itinerary. These are the ports of call. Are they safe? Are they close to the actual cruise port? The next is P for plates. Plates is going to be the food. This is the main dining room. This is the specialty restaurants. This is the buffet, room service, all of the different food that's included in your fare. And then lastly is S for service. Service is going to be all of the different staff that you come in contact with. So let's get started with ship. The ship was launched in 2017. It can handle 4,475 passengers and a little over 1,500 crew members. It spans over 19 decks, and according to Cruise Critic, it has a passenger to crew ratio of 2.9 to 1. There are some very nice inside public areas of the ship. There is an amazing central promenade with retail and shopping located there. It's got a beautiful domed LED ceiling that's extremely innovative and very beautiful. They do lots of different shows there during the daytime as well as the evening. If you're familiar with MSC, you do know that they've got the Swarovski crystal staircases throughout the atrium, which are absolutely beautiful. This central atrium covers 3 decks, decks 5, 6, and 7. And on deck 7, the specialty dining venues overlook the promenade, and you're able to sit outside in a public area and actually view that beautiful domed LED ceiling for the various shows throughout the evening. There are 3 set dining venues located over 2 decks. There's also an anytime dining venue for the Aria level guests. The buffet is very large, seating is abundant, and that is located on deck 15. Now, the outside areas, there's a very large active pool midship that has its main pool deck and then has a sun deck that overlooks obviously the ocean as well as the pool deck below. There is an inside pool that has a retractable roof, and it also covers 2 decks, and the upper deck also has hot tubs as well as the main deck. We noticed that the retractable roof was closed sometimes as well as open during our sailing. There is an adults pool located at the aft with stadium seating for sun decks, and on the second deck you also have a pool with bar service located there. Behind that you have a massive water slide area, a ropes course, as well as a splash zone for the kiddies. Below the water park, you are going to find an extensive sportsplex with a full-size basketball court that goes over 2 decks. This is where the teen dance area is. This is where the arcade and the toddler activity areas are located as well. You have this very much separated from the other venues, so I think this was a pretty good design by MSC. You're also going to have the Formula One simulator cars located in this area, as well as the bowling alley. Now, I will note that the Formula One and the bowling alley are an extra charge. You have 2 main elevator banks, one at the front and one at the rear, and you have 1 glass elevator pointing towards the ocean that you'll find midship. The Yacht Club is an area that's dedicated to the suites. They have a butler, dedicated concierge, and it's that ship within a ship concept. You do have a dedicated restaurant and lounge for that area as well. There are many bars and lounges located throughout the ship on most public decks. The pool deck and solarium obviously have dedicated bars. The aft adults only area also has its dedicated bars. And then inside, there are various bars throughout the public decks. Most only have operating hours in the evenings. However, on deck 6 at the Edge Bar, as well as the Horizon Bar, aft pool deck, you're going to have service throughout the day. The Sky Lounge is located above the pool deck, and it is a beautiful area, very quiet during the day. However, at night it does have live music. There's a fantastic English pub located on board that plays sports throughout the day. We left on a Sunday, so the football games were on, as well as the World Cup soccer matches were played in that area. There is a TV studio where at 10 o'clock every night there is a karaoke lounge located there, which is a lot of fun. And then there's a very large casino bar, as well as a bar located in the Carousel Lounge. The main pool has snacks throughout the day, ice cream, a bar, pizza, burgers, and salads that were replenished often. So this is a very nice ship. The atrium is beautiful, but somewhat small. The promenade is fairly thin with the beautiful dome ceiling. There's good separation of spaces. There is a great placement of the specialty dining venues overlooking the promenade. And overall, a very well-designed ship, very clean. And for that, I'm going to give the MSC Meraviglia ship design 4 stars. So now let's review hotel. This is the cabins as well as the onboard entertainment. I had a balcony stateroom on deck 9 on the starboard side of the ship. The balcony cabin was a very nice cabin, quite large. It had a lot of muted creams and greens. It seemed to be very well updated. It did have a nice do not disturb and make up the room button right inside of the door, located just near the temperature controls, as well as the box that you put your key card into to activate the power in your room. Comes with 2 twin beds that can be combined into a king, as well as my cabin also had a sleeper sofa. There is sufficient closet, however, there is limited hangers located. I'm sure your stateroom attendant would be able to provide more if you ask them. There are a few drawers and shelves in the closet along with a small safe, not big enough to hold a laptop, but your wallet, your passport, and all of your important items. There is a smaller flat screen Samsung television that did not swivel, located across from the sleeper sofa. There are 2 US outlets located on the desk, as well as 2 European outlets and 1 USB. There are not any charging stations or outlets beside either side of the bed. The bathroom is the biggest problem with this room. It was very, very small. It did have a nice shower with a plastic door, and they do provide shampoo and shower gel for you in there as well. Very good water pressure. However, the toilet location is very, very tight, and you can hardly reach the toilet paper that's located underneath the cabinet. There's also very limited storage in this bathroom, so for a 7-day cruise for 2 people, this might be a little tight. One of the areas where I thought MSC really excelled on this sailing is in the area of entertainment. The theater is not that large, and it filled up every evening with some absolutely incredible shows. There were 2 shows nightly. The singers and dancers were absolutely amazing. The sets were well designed, the costuming was great, the lighting was great. Some people said that they thought the shows were a little too loud. I didn't think so. Day 1, they had an 80s kind of disco show, which I thought was really, really great. The singing was fantastic. The costumes were really great. On day 2, there was a Broadway show called One Day More, where they highlighted all of the most popular Broadway songs. And again, the singing was absolutely fantastic. Some of the best that I've ever heard on a cruise ship, and I thought they did a fantastic job. Later on that night, there was their famous white party in the promenade area, and that was a lot of fun. Day 3, they did a show called Top Hits, which were to be timeless music, and they did another fantastic show. And again, I thought the singing and dancing were absolutely fantastic, as well as the set design and costumes. Now, later on that night, this was the day that we were at Ocean Cay, their private island, and they had a beach party at 9 p.m. as well as a laser lighthouse show on their lighthouse at 9 and 10 o'clock. On the 4th night, they did a show called Cool, which was all about the 60s and 70s. This was probably the weakest of the 4 theater shows, but it was still pretty good. That same night, I actually paid an upcharge of $11 to see Rock Circus in the Carousel Lounge. Now, this is a very unique venue, and reservations are required. You do make your reservations at the Ocean Cay dining venue on Deck 6, which is a specialty restaurant. This was an absolutely amazing acrobatics, song and dance combination show, and I thought it was probably one of the best shows that I have ever seen on a cruise ship. This is an absolute must-see. There are lounge acts throughout the ship in all of the different venues. In the evenings, a piano player was playing Christmas music in the atrium. There's a house band in the Meraviglia lounge on Deck 6. And then up in the Sky Lounge, you had a saxophone player that was very, very good and very interactive with the audience. This was a very well executed entertainment team on this ship, and I think this was probably one of the main highlights of my entire sailing. Due to the outstanding entertainment on board, I'm going to give Hotel 4.5 stars. So now let's move on to itinerary for the ports of call. On this sailing, we visited 2 ports, Nassau, Bahamas, and MSC's private island, Ocean Cay Marine Reserve. As you've seen from my prior video of my most favorite and least favorite Caribbean ports, Nassau is on my least favorite. They are doing a major renovation of this port where I filmed some of the construction that's going on, and they are doing a very, very good job. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic port of call once they've finished this port. The downtown area still has a lot of closed shops, and to my knowledge, Señor Frog's is still closed. If anybody's been to Nassau and has been to Señor Frog's and they're reopened, please let me know in the comments below. I will be doing a separate video of Ocean Cay Marine Reserve, but the highlights of this location are that this is a new island, not as mature as it could be yet. There are several beaches to choose from. You've got cabanas. There's a special area for yacht club guests. You will see food trucks around the island, as well as they have a buffet food pavilion that gets very, very crowded. They have a very unique lighthouse located on the island with a really fantastic lounge attached to it. We were an overnight stay here, so they did have a really nice beach party with dancing, as well as a really beautiful laser light show on the lighthouse. Because we had some really good weather, and at Ocean Cay, we had a full afternoon as well as an overnight and morning at the private island, I'm going to give the ports of call for itinerary 3.5 stars. So let's now move on to plates, which is the food on board, a big reason why everybody goes on a cruise. The food on this sailing was actually pretty good. the weakest link being the buffet. I was lucky enough to have the 3 specialty dining package, and the specialty dining on board was absolutely fantastic. I ate the first night in Ocean Cay, which was the seafood restaurant. It's very, very good. I also had lunch at the sushi restaurant, which was also an exceptional experience with fantastic service. Butcher's Cut is the high-end steakhouse on board, and I had an amazing meal there with a perfectly done filet mignon, and again, the service in all of the 3 specialty restaurants were outstanding. The main dining room, the food was very good. There were lots of choices. The service for dinner was absolutely excellent with my 2 servers, Mark and Jabeth. I will recommend that you do go to the main dining room for breakfast and lunch if it is open, because the buffet is not very good. There's very limited selection. It's extremely repetitive. The desserts were not very good. They didn't have much flavor. Seating was not a problem, and it is open late night where they serve pizza and sandwiches. Because of the outstanding food in the specialty dining venues as well as the main dining room, I'm going to give P for plates, which is for food, 3.5 stars. The buffet was very weak, and that is why this score is not higher. Service on this sailing was absolutely fantastic. I had a great experience with all departments. My room steward, Ray, was extremely efficient, very, very nice, met me immediately upon entering my cabin, and really took care of me throughout the 4-day cruise. The main dining room staff with Mark and Japeth at table 207 was really out of this world. They were so friendly. Here they are. We had a great time together. The dining room manager, Vincent, also took care of me with a new table assignment when my table for 12 was overbooked. He found me a great table by myself right by the window. The bar staff on board were very efficient and as quick as possible. I will recommend, though, if you are in one of the lounges inside, that you sit down at the lounge instead of going to the bar. You'll probably get served much quicker and more efficiently. There were lines at guest services, but they did have additional staff working the line to make sure that if it was a simple issue, that they could resolve it there so you did not have to wait. I thought that was an expert move by MSC. The private island staff was also very, very helpful and very friendly. It seemed like all over the ship that the crew was very happy and extremely friendly. The specialty dining experience was absolutely fantastic, exceptional, all the way from reserving my times to the actual wait staff and servers that I had in each of the venues. They were top-notch, and it was exceptional service that I was not, quite frankly, expecting from MSC. Communications on board was also key to service on this particular sailing. As you may have seen from my previous video, we had a very tragic accident on the morning returning to Port Canaveral where a woman went overboard at 5 a.m. The communications throughout this entire ordeal was fantastic, and I commend MSC on the way they handled that situation. If you want to hear more about that, check out my previous video, and I'll leave that link in the comments below. So for service for this sailing, I'm going to give MSC a well-deserved 4.5 stars. They did an absolutely exceptional job. So the Doug's ship score for this 4-night sailing on the MSC Meraviglia is 4 stars. This was a great cruise and one that I highly recommend. Also make sure that you check out that solo cruiser promotion that they have going on right now. Thanks everybody for stopping in today. I really do appreciate it. If you found this video helpful in any way, please do give it that thumbs up and consider subscribing. Again, I'm trying to get that 1,000 mark before the end of the year, so I would really appreciate you subscribing to the channel. I hope you enjoyed yourself here today. Thanks for stopping by, And as always, I'll see you again soon.